What up, everybody? Welcome back to J-Fabe Wrestling. We're still on the journey to rebooking every WrestleMania. This is the 33rd episode, which means we're looking at WrestleMania 33. WrestleMania 33 took place on April 2nd, 2017 in Orlando, Florida. And the attendance was roughly 64,900. Tagline, the ultimate thrill ride. And this is quite a lengthy card here, so let's talk about it. On the pre-show, we got Neville retaining his Cruiserweight Championship, defeating Austin Aries. We have Mojo Rawley winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, last eliminating Jinder Mahal. And Dean Ambrose defeating Baron Corbin to retain his Intercontinental Championship. So this is the main card here. AJ Styles defeating Shane McMahon. Kevin Owens defeating Chris Jericho to win the United States Championship. Bayley defeating Charlotte, Nia Jax, and Sasha Banks to retain her Raw Women's Championship. The Hardy Boyz defeating Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, Cesaro and Sheamus, and Enzo and Cass in a ladder match to win the Raw Tag Team Championship. John Cena and Nikki Bella defeated The Miz and Maryse in a mixed tag team match. Seth Rollins defeated Triple H in an unsanctioned match. Randy Orton defeated Bray Wyatt to win the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defeated Goldberg to win the Universal Championship. Naomi defeated Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Carmella, Mickie James, and Natalya to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. And in the main event, Roman Reigns defeated The Undertaker. So yeah, guys. WrestleMania 33, I thought the show was alright. It was just a little too long, but honestly, with the brand split, I feel like this is what's going to happen, especially if you make, each set of belts now. You got to have 2 women's matches. They didn't even have the SmackDown Tag Team title match on the show. So, yeah. I thought there were some good matches, though. I thought AJ and Shane was fun. But I think, AJ probably deserved to be, have a better opponent. Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho was fun, but I just wasn't a fan of it being for the U.S. belt. Hardy Boyz returning, obviously, iconic moment, great moment there. Cena proposing after his mixed tag match. That was a cool moment, but obviously it didn't really lead to anything. Seth and Triple H was a pretty decent match as well. And Brock versus Goldberg, probably one of the most fun matches under 5 minutes. But, the main event wasn't that good. The WWE Championship match wasn't that good. I felt like they kind of shoo-in the women in there. Even the Raw Women's Tag, having all 4 of them in an elimination fatal 4-way, sorry. I don't know. Felt a little rushed there. So, yeah, but I think, it's an okay card, but I think I could definitely do better. So, yeah, let's get into my card right now. All right. First half, I'm going to just talk about the pre-show matches. I usually like having everything on the card, but yeah, this is quite a lengthy card here. So, I'm going to keep Neville versus Austin Aries the same. I thought it was a really good match here, and on the pre-show they're able to get a lot of time, and yeah, it just makes sense. You got Neville, the serious cruiserweight, trying to be known as the king of the cruiserweight, and you got Austin Aries, him being arrogant but also very charismatic. And yeah, I like the way how Austin Aries was like a commentator, and then he kept interviewing Neville after he wins, and Neville gets a little too cocky, and that's when Austin Aries kind of attacks Neville, hits him with the mic, and sets up their feud here. And yeah, I would actually give Austin Aries the win. I think he deserved a nice win here at WrestleMania. All right, next up we got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So yeah, simple build here. Everyone's putting their name in the Battle Royal, saying I'm in it. And this is the year that I actually have Baron Corbin win. So I had Dolph Ziggler win last year. But I feel like this year Baron Corbin be more ready to win, and they did give him a big push quite afterwards. So yeah, I'd actually have Baron Corbin get the win. And you could even have the same final two, Dolph and Baron Corbin again. And yeah, Baron can hit the ends of days and throw Dolph Ziggler out, and he becomes Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. All right, next up, what I would add to the pre-show is a women's Battle Royal. So I'd call it Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. And yeah, I'd actually have Sasha Banks get the win here. Last eliminated Nia Jax. They could have a nice final 2 there. So obviously this means I don't have Sasha and Nia in the women's championship match later on the show. But I think, this is a good showcase. And I'll give Sasha Banks the win. Since this is the first time, bringing the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal back, I think Sasha's the right person to win. And her overcoming the odds against Nia Jax will be a nice moment on the pre-show. All right, now onto the main card here. We got the SmackDown Women's Championship match. I have Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. So yeah, Becky would win the inaugural SmackDown Women's Championship here, and during a match with Alexa Bliss at TLC, I would have a masked women cost Becky Lynch the match there. And then later on, Mickie James would actually debut, return, and she would challenge Alexa Bliss. And Mickie James would actually get the win. And, Becky and Mickie James, they kind of have a partnership because, they both respect each other. How Becky Lynch, looked up to Mickie James. And then there's going to be like some footage where they realize that Mickie James was actually the masked woman attacking Becky Lynch. So that kind of sets up the feud there. And Becky could win a number one contenders match at the Elimination Chamber. And yeah, this feud could be simple. Mickie could talk about how, women like Becky Lynch take all the credit for the women's revolution when I put in the work long before you. And Becky could talk about how, she used to look up to Mickie James, but not anymore. It's not good to meet your idols, and that she's going to prove that, as great as Mickie was, that Becky Lynch is on a different level. So, yeah, I think this would be a nice feud here, and I'll give Becky Lynch the win. I think it'd be a little bit better than the 6 women tag match. There was a little bit too much going on, but this one is a good storyline. You got, the new generation versus the old. So, yeah, I think it'll be a great match. All right, next up we got the Raw Women's Championship match, Charlotte versus Bayley. So, going into this, Charlotte had a undefeated record on pay-per-view. I'll try to keep that if possible. And it made no sense for her to lose it on Fastlane. So, yeah. I just have Bayley, win a number one contenders match on Fastlane against Sasha and Nia Jax triple threat match. And, the build could be simple where Charlotte is discrediting Bayley and saying, Bayley, she can't be compared to me. I'm the queen. And, I don't give hugs. People pay to give me a hug. She could, just go talk about, how she's much superior. And Bayley could talk about, that this is her dream to win the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. And she's going to prove that dreams come true. And that, if you work hard enough, that it'll pay off. So, yeah, I think it's a simple feud there. Charlotte and Dana Brooke could, attack Bayley a couple weeks. Sasha could try and make the save as well. And, I would have Dana Brooke get involved in the match. Sasha would come out, attack Dana Brooke. And, Charlotte could try to go for the figure eight. Bayley could push her off with her legs and then catch her in the Bayley to belly to win. I think this would be a great moment. I thought the Fastlane match, it was a great moment, but you might as well save that for WrestleMania. And, Bayley definitely deserved the win here. So, I think great moment and great match at WrestleMania. All right, next up we got the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. I got the Usos versus American Alpha. American Alpha did win the belts, I believe, earlier that year against the Wyatt family, but I would save their win for WrestleMania. So obviously they had the tournament on SmackDown to decide who would become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I would actually have the Usos actually, after losing to American Alpha in the second round, they would injure American Alpha, so American Alpha would be out. The Usos would win the replacement spot, and they would win the tag belts here. They could just hold it, and American Alpha would be just dealing with other things, fighting with other heel teams like the Fashion Police or the Vaudevillains. But at Elimination Chamber, American Alpha could win a number one contenders gauntlet match. The Usos could try to screw American Alpha, but American Alpha can, overcome the odds there. And the feud is simple. The Usos say, we've been locking down the SmackDown division, and now everyone wants to cheer for, the new kids on the block, the American Alpha. And American Alpha could talk about how, they love wrestling and that there's nothing bigger than WrestleMania and winning the tag team championships. And I think they'd have a great match here. And this is where I would crown American Alpha this new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. All right, next up we got the Raw Tag Team Champions match. I would keep the match the same. It's the Club, Enzo and Cass, Sheamus and Cesaro, and obviously this is the iconic Hardy Boyz return. Keep that the same. I'd actually have Enzo and Cass win the Raw titles though. So the Bar would defeat the New Day at Roadblock, and I would actually have Enzo and Cass defeat Sheamus and Cesaro at Royal Rumble, and then I'll have the Club defeat Enzo and Cass at Fastlane. So all three of them are kind of in a feud with each other. I'll have championships. Have won the championship, so it makes sense there. So they make the ladder match to finally, figure out who's the greatest Raw tag team. And then obviously the Hardy Boyz would return. The New Day would still be hosting the show here. And yeah, just keep everything the same. It was a great moment, great match. The pop was insane. Jeff Hardy with the swanton through the two ladders. And then Matt Hardy with the twist of fate from the top of the ladder there. And Matt Hardy is the one that grabbed the belts, and he starts doing the delete taunt. So yeah, great moment. Wouldn't change a thing. All right, next up we got the Intercontinental Championship match. I got Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton. So I would have Dean win the IC title at Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber. It doesn't really matter. He would defeat The Miz after, The Miz would cheat to win, but Shane would say, we're going to restart the match. And Dean would win there. And then, Randy would win a number one contenders match there. And I think this would be a good feud. We got the Lunatic Fringe versus the Viper. Just two explosive characters, Randy could talk about how, Dean, they call you the Lunatic Fringe, but really, I think I'm a lunatic too. And he talks about how, he's going to get to that place again, where he's... And then they could have a brawl. Randy could try to go for the punt. Dean can get out the way. So Dean says, I want the old Randy, I want the one that's the true Viper and not this, this phony. And Randy could talk about how he wants the true Dean Ambrose, the one that was busting his ass on the indies and making a name for himself. And they both, agree to, to put it all on the line. I would actually make this like a street fight or something. And I think this would be a great match here. Dean would get the win. He could, reverse the RKO into the Dirty Deeds. And after the match, they could shake hands. So, I think this would be a great moment for Dean and a great match. All right, next up, we got the United States Championship match. I'd have Sami Zayn come in as a champion versus Braun Strowman. So I'd have Sami, win the title off Rusev, maybe on Roadblock or something like that. And Braun could win a number one contenders match against the Big Show at Fastlane. And just a simple story here where everyone's doubting Sami Zayn. Even like Mick Foley, the GM, he's trying to motivate Sami Zayn by, first doubting him. And then Sami could do a great promo where he talks about how even you, Mick Foley, people doubted you. What'd you do? You proved them wrong. And then Mick is laughing. He's like, that's the Sami I want at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman just talking about how, he's going to destroy Sami Zayn and he's going to show the world that, not all the time you can overcome the odds. And Sami Zayn can talk about how, he's overcome bigger odds than Braun Strowman, and he's going to prove it at WrestleMania. I think this would be a good match. I'd actually give Sami the win here. Just because I know Sami was getting drafted to SmackDown and the U.S. title was on SmackDown, so I'd give Sami the win here. Honestly, I really don't know how I'd give him the win. Maybe he could get lucky with like a roll-up or something. Maybe like there could be an exposed turnbuckle spot. Braun runs into it. And Sami could get the win there. I think it'd be a nice feel-good moment for Sami Zayn to retain the United States Championship. All right, next up we got another no-holds-barred match with the special guest referee Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus The Miz. So like I said, at Fastlane, Shane would restart the match where The Miz would cheat to win. And that would allow Dean Ambrose to win. And that's when The Miz could go off on Shane and Daniel Bryan. He's saying, how like the SmackDown higher-ups, they don't give me enough respect. What do I have to do here to get respect? It's the IC champ. I'm a former WWE champion. What do I have to get respect? And, Shane and Daniel Bryan actually could come out and say, if you want to get respect, you got to earn it. And how about you earn it against Shane McMahon at WrestleMania in a no-holds-barred match? And The Miz accepts, and he says, he's going to prove that that he's the greatest of all time, and he could like try to attack Daniel Bryan, but that's when Shane would come out. They could have a nice brawl there. They could have great promos between Bryan and The Miz as well. The Miz is kind of goading Bryan, saying, you can't compete at WrestleMania. I ain't injury prone. And that's when Daniel Bryan says, you know what? I'm going to be special guest referee at WrestleMania. So, and yeah, The Miz could have a couple of his cronies there. I don't really know if Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel were on SmackDown or not, but he could have like a Miz Taraj there trying to help him out. That's when Daniel Bryan can, he could do a couple kicks. I think Daniel Bryan could do a couple of kicks at WrestleMania. And yeah, Shane would hit the coast to coast on The Miz to get the feel good victory there. All right, next up we got a non-sanctioned match. So the last match was no holds barred. This is non-sanctioned. We got Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus Triple H and Samoa Joe. Yes. I thought Samoa Joe should definitely be on the card here. And I have something else for Undertaker to do. So, might as well add Roman here. And obviously Seth, he was coming into the match injured. So, I think having them in a tag team match here makes a little more sense. And yeah, I would obviously in my world, Roman was aligned with the Authority. They'd have a falling out there, and obviously Seth Rollins, he turned his back on the Authority. So yeah, there's a story there that could be built. Triple H would eventually turn on Roman Reigns, and eventually cost Seth Rollins a match too for the Universal title. So that could build it there. You could have the same where Seth is gonna attack Triple H and Samoa Joe comes out. Puts him in a sleeper hold. Obviously, that's when Seth gets injured, though. So yeah, they kind of make the match there. Roman can challenge Triple H, and Triple H says, you know what, let's make it a tag team match. Why don't you find yourself a partner? And if you're thinking about choosing Seth Rollins, just know that he's in the hospital right now. So yeah, they could kind of build it, like who's Roman going to pick? And then on the last day of Raw, Seth can reveal that he's ready to go here. And yeah, Triple H can also talk about, how he made the Shield and how they don't, have any appreciation for them, and Seth and Roman can talk about how, he didn't make nothing. We made our names from ourselves, and that Samoa Joe's gonna realize that he's just a lackey for the Authority, and we were once like that. And yeah, Samoa Joe could talk about, how he injures people, and that, he aligned himself with the game because he's the best in the game. And I think this would be a great match here. And I actually give Samoa Joe the win over Seth here. He could actually make Seth Rollins pass out with the Coquina clutch. And I think it'd be a good match. And I think, Joe should have been on the card. And him giving him this big win at Mania definitely establishes him. All right, next up we got The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. This will be a SmackDown match. Obviously in my previous cards I did not have this match, and I think eventually this match had to happen, and I think WrestleMania 33 is a good time to have it. I'd actually have Taker challenge AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. Because I believe you guys remember on SmackDown, Undertaker was talking about, if you guys mess this up, this SmackDown tag, someone's going to get hurt. I'd have AJ, cost Dean Ambrose a pin or something. And Undertaker says, you disrespect SmackDown, you disrespect me, and I'm coming for that title at Royal Rumble. So yeah, Taker's looks like he's about to get the win. And that's when the Wyatt family comes out. And Bray costs The Undertaker the match. I'd actually have the Bray and Randy feud blow off at the Royal Rumble. So yeah, Randy and Bray are kind of done. And then Bray's looking for a new challenge, and he cost The Undertaker the match there. And at the Elimination Chamber, Bray looks like he's about to win. And that's when Undertaker, the lights can go off, and Undertaker appears in the ring, chokeslam, tombstone. And yeah, Bray could talk about how he's the new face of fear, and that he has to put The Undertaker away to finally become the face of fear. And Undertaker could talk about how, a lot of people come and go trying to take me out, but, this is still my yard. And they could just play mind games with, Undertaker like burning Bray Wyatt's chair, and you got Bray Wyatt pop out of some caskets, like kind of the same feud they had at WrestleMania 31, but both would actually be involved there. And yeah, I think this would be a decent match here. Undertaker is still undefeated in my world, and honestly, I don't think Bray Wyatt probably should have won. I feel like Taker should still win here and remain undefeated, but I think it'll be a good match here. Probably definitely better than the WrestleMania 31 match in my opinion. All right, next up we got Goldberg Brock. First time at Mania, because obviously WrestleMania 20 I had something different. I definitely keep a lot of the build the same. I'd have Goldberg squash Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, and Goldberg would get the title shot at Royal Rumble, and Goldberg would face Kevin Owens. That's when Brock would cost Goldberg the match there and like take him out. And during the Rumble, Goldberg would come back from the ambulance and eliminate Brock Lesnar there. And then they could just build towards this feud here. Brock could talk about, how he's the most dominant force in the WWE and that not even Bill Goldberg can prove him wrong. And Goldberg could talk about how, he beat Brock once and he's going to beat him again. And this time Brock's going to be done for good. They could just have great promos there. Paul Heyman talking smack about Goldberg and his kids. So it gets a little personal there. They can have some brawls. And I'd keep the whole match the same here. It's great match, under 5 minutes. Brock Lesnar would get the clean win over Goldberg. The only thing is this is not for the Universal title, because the next match will be for the Universal title. That match is Kevin Owens defending against Chris Jericho. Yes. I would actually keep everything the same going into the Rumble, but this time it's Owens versus Goldberg. And Jericho obviously tries to help out, but obviously Brock is the one to really help Kevin Owens retain there. And then I'd actually have Chris Jericho win the 2017 Royal Rumble. I'd give them into Jericho. And him and KO could be celebrating. And KO says, you're not going to challenge me, right? Like you should challenge AJ Styles. He's the one who defeated you at WrestleMania last year. So KO could try to plant in his head that he's trying to get him to fight AJ Styles at WrestleMania. But then Jericho also proposes, man, how cool would it be for both of us to headline WrestleMania and make the best man win? We're going to be best friends even after the match. KO's like, that'd be cool. So, and then they could do the friendship festival, and that's when obviously KO turns on Jericho, and he says, you know what, Chris, I knew you wanted to face me, so yeah, this is what happens when you cross Kevin Owens. And Jericho, again, they can have the great promos again where Jericho comes out and taunts KO for being a Jericho fan. He has that picture of KO as a kid being a Jericho fan. And he says, you know what? All these people, especially you, want to be like me, Y2J, Chris Jericho, because I'm the greatest of all time. And KO could talk about how he used to look up to Chris Jericho, but not now because he's the man now. And I think it'd be a great match here. And Kevin Owens will get the win. Clean win here. Kevin Owens gets a clean win here and retains. But it'll still be a great match. And obviously this was the best match with the most build, I think. So they definitely deserve the Universal title spot. And this is just great elevation for Kevin Owens and, rewarding Chris Jericho again for his last run here. All right, next up is John Cena challenging the champion AJ Styles in the main event for the WWE World Championship. So I'd actually have AJ defeat John Cena at SummerSlam with help from the club. So basically, they wouldn't fight at Money in the Bank. I'd actually have John Cena and AJ versus the club, because it looks like the club is turning on AJ, and he has John Cena be his partner. And that's where I'd have, AJ turn on John Cena there. And then they'd have the match at SummerSlam, and that's where the club would kind of cost John Cena the match. but now the club is on Raw, so AJ got to do it on his own. AJ would win the title against Dean Ambrose at Backlash. That's fine. And Cena could try to make the challenge, and AJ says, I beat you already, and he says no. So, yeah, and I would have Cena fight Dean Ambrose at No Mercy, number one's contenders match. You could have AJ distract Cena and give Dean the win there, so Dean would get to fight AJ at TLC. Cena's gone for a bit, but he comes back in the Royal Rumble. And then again, AJ would cost Cena at the Royal Rumble. He would distract him, and someone would eliminate John Cena. So John Cena's like very fed up. He's very pissed. He says, he wants his rematch. And AJ says, I already beat you, John. So John would win the Elimination Chamber here. And that sets up the feud here. And they could have the same promos they had coming into Royal Rumble, where John's talking about how, like, they say I bury people, but, people are scared to fight me because at the end of the day, they know that I'm better. And AJ can talk about how, he was putting in work in TNA in Florida, but everyone was talking about this guy, John Cena, and it made him sick. They could have great promos there. And this is where I would have hoped the Royal Rumble match here. But I would actually have AJ to retain cleanly. And after the match, Cena could offer his hand. AJ would shake it, and this would kind of be like AJ Styles' face turn. He turned face basically after this anyway. So, I think this would be a great main event. Payoff to a great feud, Cena versus AJ, and it gives Cena, basically kind of his farewell in the main event scene here. So, and gives AJ Styles a big win, a big star, and it just makes AJ Styles even a bigger star. And again, this would be a great match. All right, guys. That is my card and some upgrades I think I made here. First off, having Mojo Rawley win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal doesn't really make sense. I think Baron Corbin makes more sense. You could even still have the spot where Gronk gets in the ring there. I think Baron Corbin makes more sense. And I like having the Women's Battle Royal, so it kind of, makes the Women's Championship matches less cluttered here. We don't have a 4-way or 6-pack challenge. We have straight up one-on-one matches, which in theory make the matches better. And I think it's a good showcase too for Sasha Banks last eliminating Nia Jax there. As I said, the Women's Championship match, Becky versus Mickie James, is a little more appealing than a 6-pack challenge there, and you could have more of a feud there with the young superstar versus the legend. And then Charlotte versus Bayley, I think paying off Bayley's story at WrestleMania makes more sense, just given on her character. And I think also ending the Charlotte streak, pay-per-view streak, whatever, that was at Fastlane. You might as well end at WrestleMania, so that makes more sense there, and give Bayley her crowning moment at WrestleMania. Adding the SmackDown titles, I think, is good too. I mean, American Alpha, they should have been on the card, because I think after this, Jason Jordan got injured and they never had a chance to compete at WrestleMania. So, and then them versus the Usos obviously should be a good match. Of course, you got to keep the Raw Tag Team Championship, everything the same there, a great moment. Dean Ambrose versus Randy, I think, is better than Corbin, just because of the characters and how they kind of, Dean and Randy kind of like have a lot of similarities. They could both go crazy and wild, and having them in a hardcore street fight environment, I think, is good. Sammy and Strowman is good. I feel like Sammy should have been on the card, and Strowman, to be honest. Both were in the Battle Royal, both had really good years in 2016, so I'm rewarding them here. And it's a nice, big man versus little man feud there. And then we got Shane versus The Miz. I think this is better than Shane versus AJ, because AJ was kind of popular, and like Shane versus The Miz makes more sense here, with The Miz being the heel. I know they did it a couple years later with Shane being the face, but this one makes more sense. Also, given that Daniel Bryan was closely aligned with Shane at the time, and The Miz was, talking junk about Daniel Bryan makes sense. And I think the non-sanctioned match, I think I made it better, just making a tag match. So, we don't have to see Seth selling the leg as often in the match, because that match went quite long. And Samoa Joe should have been on the card too. He had so much momentum, and he didn't even interfere in the match. You would think he would interfere. I think it's better placement for Roman Reigns here. Undertaker and Bray, I think it'd be better because we're not giving them the main event spot, or not putting Bray in the title match here. So, they don't have to go for too long, and the storyline here wouldn't make sense based on the characters. Goldberg and Brock, yeah, keep it the same. That was a fun match. And I think the title matches where I actually really improve on, because I have great build for Jericho and Owens. Lesnar and Goldberg didn't really need the belt, and the fans weren't really behind either guy there. Kevin Owens, Jericho, the fans are going to be fully behind Jericho. KO played a great heel. This is the best built feud coming into WrestleMania, so they should definitely have a semi-main event here. And then obviously the main event, Cena and AJ, makes sense because you saw how good their match was at the Royal Rumble, and it's like, man, we should have this match at WrestleMania instead. It's an upgrade over Bray and Randy. John Cena doesn't have to do that mixed tag thing. AJ doesn't have to fight Shane. And this is a good way for, to turn AJ Styles face. So, yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about my card. Did I improve or not? And what changes I should make. And, I'm going to run down the card right now. We got the Cruiserweight Championship. The King of the Cruiserweights, Neville, defending against Austin Aries. We got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We got the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. And then we got the SmackDown Women's Championship. The Irish Last Kicker, Becky Lynch, defending against Mickie James. For the Raw Women's Championship, the Queen, Charlotte Flair, defending against the Hugger, Bayley. For the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Usos defending against American Alpha. For the Raw Tag Team Championship in a ladder match, we got the Club defending against Enzo and Cass, Sheamus and Cesaro, and the Hardy Boyz. For the Intercontinental Championship, we got the Lunatic Fringe defending against the Viper, Randy Orton, in a street fight. For the United States Championship, we got the Underdog, Sami Zayn, defending against the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman. And then in a no-holds-barred match, special guest referee Daniel Bryan, we got Shane McMahon versus The Miz. In a non-sanctioned match, we got the Seth Rollins and the Big Dog Roman Reigns versus the Game Triple H and the Samoan Submission Machine Samoa Joe. Then we got the Phenom The Undertaker versus the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt. We got Goldberg versus the Beast Brock Lesnar. For the WWE Universal Championship, Kevin Owens versus Y2J Chris Jericho. And for the WWE World Championship, John Cena challenging the phenomenal AJ Styles. So yeah, guys, that's my card. Once again, let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, sub. And yeah, look out for more videos in the future. Peace.